What's up, everybody? This is the Sports League Podcast. Back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got Chad Brown. Great to have you back on the show, Chad.
Happy to be with you, my friend, and let's dive into it. It's a football Friday, so let's get talking about this weekend.
Absolutely. And a lot of great games this weekend. And we had a good one on Thursday night. The Dolphins at the Bills. It was 14-14 at halftime, but the Bills pulled away in the second half to win 31-21. Chad, the Dolphins have looked a lot more competitive the last two games, but just unable to get that win, huh?
Yes, but this is a Dolphins thing. They're able to whoop up on inferior foes and put up great numbers, but when they come against somebody who's legit and real, they tend to crumble. So I was not surprised to see their mistakes compound against them in this game. This is what the
Yeah.
Dolphins have been the last couple of years. So uh, I guess tip of the cap to play better, but this is not a play better league. It's a win the game league, and they don't
Yeah.
get that done often enough against quality teams.
Yeah, and that's got to be tough for Dolphins fans to start 0-3 with they feel like a pretty talented roster. What do you think of, Mike McDaniel and the GM Chris Greer? Do you feel like is it a coaching issue? Is it a talent issue or is it a quarterback issue? What do you think is the biggest thing holding the Dolphins back?
Well, I think they've got all those things. They've got some culture stuff that they tried to address this offseason, but I'm still seeing some remnants of that. When one of your best players and most highly paid players is uh, Tyreek Hill, and there's certainly some fit and personality issues with him.
Yeah,
Tua is good enough to warrant the starting job and to be given the expectations of a franchise quarterback. But as we saw last night, there's going to be a couple of plays you want back pretty much every game. And that interception, I know it's been hotly debated on social media. As a former defensive player, I look at that as squarely on the quarterback to stare a receiver down and not
yeah,
expect that linebacker to jump on that pass. That was a quarterback issue. So they've got a couple of issues. And then I think Mike McDaniels just is not respected in that locker room as a head coach.
yeah, yeah. From the outside looking in, yeah, he just doesn't seem to be. He seems like he'd be a great X's and O's and play caller and all that, but he doesn't seem to be the type of head coach that's really like a locker room guy and is going to command the respect, especially when things aren't going well. So, but yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, my bad. But Josh Allen right now is playing. He's probably playing the best football of anyone, at the quarterback position right now, and he's so difficult to defend. 238 yards, three touchdowns, no turnovers, and I love that little flip pass he did right at the goal line where it's so difficult to defend him there because he can either run you over or and you're getting ready for that, and then he does that little flip pass. That's just too difficult.
Yeah, he's playing at a really high level. And even yesterday didn't have a lot of deep passes down the field. So he showed a new element, and that's patience.
Yeah.
Um, some quarterbacks, it's hard for them to be patient and drive down the field with short passes. They want to attack the defense and be risky. He was fine to sit back and take what the Dolphins gave him. And in the end, that strategy of being consistent and being able to sustain just makes the Bills more difficult to deal with.
Hmm. And then I think James Cook, Josh Allen is obviously the engine of that team and makes everything go, but James Cook is such a weapon in the backfield, and he almost broke a couple of those. He got, shoestring tackled, but he was almost gone. He's a big factor to their success as well. Do you agree?
Oh, no doubt about that. His ability to read and cut off blocks and be super efficient in the run game.
Yeah.
A lot of folks were talking about Ashton Genty over the this week and how many more carries should people give him and all that. And if you look at his game as a rookie, knowing where to cut, knowing how to bend the play, knowing when to bend it back. Just watch James Cook, who's probably one of the more efficient runners in the NFL and maximizing what the offensive line does for him. So he's also going to be a factor, as you just pointed out. Teams want to take away Josh Allen, but then they can hurt you with James Cook running the ball right down the middle of your defense.
Yeah, 100%. I think I'm getting the feeling that this is going to be the year where we see either the Bills or the Ravens win the AFC. I think it's their time. The Chiefs look a little bit down this year. You got the Joe Burrow injury. This is the year, in my opinion, and I think it's going to come down to Bills or Ravens. And I'd love to see either of those teams get to a Super Bowl.
Man, at this point, that seems to be the likely winners. The Chiefs, obviously, with the 0-2 start, possibility to go 0-3. This
Mhm.
week it's a tough climb for them to get back. You have a 12% chance of making the playoffs if you're 0-2. If you go 0-3, it goes down to 2.4%. So,
Wow.
yeah, the Chiefs have got to get things right if they expect to be the team who we thought they would be.
Yeah, 100%. So let's get to our picks. A lot of great games on Sunday. Starting out with the 2-0 Packers at the 0-2 Browns. The Packers defense has looked elite so far through two games with Micah Parsons added to the team. Quinshon Judkins is now the number one running back for the Browns, so we'll see if he can provide an impact. The Packers are beat up, though, especially at receiver. Now with Tucker Kraft might not play as well. I still think the Packers are going to have enough to win this game, probably comfortably. But how do you see this game going?
Well, when you've got the injuries at the receiver position that the Packers have, that's an opportunity for Jordan Love to establish a connection with some of these other guys who have been in the back of that receiver room. So
Yeah,
the Browns are maybe the perfect opponent for a banged up Packers team to still be able to win the game, but also to give themselves maybe some depth that they'll need later in the season or they'll need in the playoffs. We all expect this to be a playoff team, barring some massive injury. So this is the time to do that. This is the time for their coach and their quarterback to look in that wide receiver room and find the hidden gem who's maybe not a guy who's a practice guy, doesn't stand out on a practice field, but finds a way to step it up on the field during the game.
yeah, I'd love to see Matthew Golden have a breakout game in this one as well, the rookie. But yeah, I got the Packers winning this one in Cleveland, but I got Green Bay. Do you agree?
I agree. Green Bay for me as well.
All right. Um, the 2-0 Colts at the 0-2 Titans, and the Colts have really impressed me. You know, they have yet to punt through two games, which is incredible. I never thought I'd see that stat. And Daniel Jones has looked really comfortable and is just really playing well with the Colts. It seems to be a perfect fit almost. And Jonathan Taylor in that backfield as well. They got a lot of good things going in Indy right now.
Yeah, 160 plus last week for Jonathan Taylor. Daniel Jones looks far better than he looked as a New York Giant. Looks very comfortable. Uh, they had 10 consecutive scoring drives, which I believe is an NFL record to start the season. So yeah, it's an easy one for me to pick the Colts here, who look to be, by all accounts, a team far better than a lot of folks would have given them credit for to start the season. And the Titans, in their defense, they're breaking their rookie quarterback. There's just going to be some tough times with that. They'll be better as the season goes along, as Cam Ward gets better. But this is a Colts team that's playing really good football right now versus the Titans, who are still trying to figure things out.
Yeah, 100%. And when you look at Cam Ward, especially last week, he made some incredible throws, but also they're kind of risky as well. Do you like a rookie quarterback doing the crazy risky, but as long as it works out, or do you think that could establish some bad habits?
I think it's a bad habit. I just talked about Josh Allen, gave Josh Allen praise for taking the easy throws and taking what the defense gives him. There is
Mhm.
certainly a time to attack the defense, but in the end, your success as a quarterback is going to be taking the easier road. Tom Brady did that forever as a Patriot. Hey, you take away that, I've got this dump down. You take away this deep route, I've got this intermediate route. Why not live on the easy stuff and only go with the risky stuff when forced to?
Yeah. Yep. So no JC Latham, it sounds like as well. So yeah, it's looking like the Colts should be able to take this one. Division rivalry, you never know, but I agree with you. I'm going to take the Colts to get to 3-0, and we'll see if they can win the division and go on a deep playoff run. The Colts are looking great so far. This is an interesting matchup. Hard to pick this one. The 2-0 Bengals at the 1-1 Vikings. Both their starting quarterbacks out with injury. No Joe Burrow, no JJ McCarthy. So in comes Jake Browning for the Bengals and Carson Wentz for the Vikings. This is a tough one for me to pick. I don't really know how this is going to go. I haven't seen much of Carson Wentz in a while. What do you expect to see out of these backup quarterbacks?
Well, Carson Wentz is on his sixth team in 6 years, and Kevin O'Connell is the quarterback whisperer. But what do you do with a guy who's got both that much football in his brain, but this little of your football in his brain?
Yeah,
So you got to go vanilla. You got to go simple, and you go vanilla and simple against an NFL defense. Well, they're going to figure that out. So Kevin O'Connell, while he's known as the quarterback whisperer, he may have to dial up some things for other players to support his quarterback and give Carson Wentz a chance versus Jake Browning, who's been with the Bengals and has started games for the Bengals because Joe Burrow's been banged up a lot in his career. So you got a guy
yeah,
who's comfortable with the system, knows the system backwards and forward, can execute the entire game plan versus a guy who's clearly going to be limited and a guy who doesn't have a whole lot of comfort and experience with his teammates. So I give the Bengals the edge in this one simply because of that. I like the Vikings. I like what their defensive coordinator does. I like their head coach. But the quarterback factor is a big one for me here, and I'm going to go Bengals.
yeah. I agree. The only thing is that the Vikings are getting healthier. It sounds like they're going to have Christian Darrisaw back. They're starting left tackle. Maybe Andrew Van Ginkel and Harrison Smith. But the quarterback thing is big, and I am leaning Bengals as well. I just trust Jake Browning more than I trust Carson Wentz at this point. So I'm going to agree with you and take the Bengals. But a road game in Minnesota is tough, but
It'll be a tough one.
I'll
There's no
agree
doubt
with you.
about that. But yeah, I just
Yeah.
I just think the quarterback difference is just going to be so stark. And even if Carson Wentz had been there a couple of years, there's a reason why he's on his sixth team in 6 years. The Carson
Yeah.
Wentz who started his NFL career is long gone. This guy who's playing now is not the same player.
Yeah, facts. Um, there's a good game. The 1-1 Steelers at the 1-1 Patriots. New England coming off a big road win in Miami. The Steelers coming off a tough home loss against the Seahawks. TJ Watt with 0 sacks so far. And Alex Highsmith is out for this game along with Joey Porter Jr. and Deshaun Elliott. So this needs to be a game where TJ Watt, gets 1.5 to 2 sacks to help the team out. Steelers defense has struggled a little bit to start the season. This is going to be a tough one in Foxborough. How do you see this one going?
I think it is going to be a tough one to pick, but that Steeler defense is just playing so poorly. And with the guys you just listed being out,
Hmm.
it's hard to imagine that they can, suddenly play much better. And while the Patriots have not been who I thought they would be under Mike Vrabel, I assumed he would look at his roster and know we're not super talented. I've got to find ways to be the cleaner, smarter playing team. Yet they're one of the most penalized teams in the league. But I think the home factor in New England, I think the improvement for a new program under Mike Vrabel will be enough to get it done. And the team that Mike Tomlin has been the worst against is the New England Patriots. Now, a lot of those losses were to Bill Belichick.
Hmm.
For whatever reason, the Patriots give him trouble. So, and Vrabel is off the Belichick tree. So I'd imagine there'll be some carryover there as well. I'm going Patriots in this one.
All right, I'm gonna go. I'm going Steelers here, but it's gonna be a great game. It's a hard one to pick, and the Patriots need Christian Gonzalez back very soon as well, and he could be back for this one, but he's questionable, so we'll see. But yeah, so I'm gonna go Steelers there, and Aaron Rodgers I trust. We'll see if he can get it done. Um, Let's go 2-0 Rams at the 2-0 Eagles, a divisional round rematch. I'm really looking forward to this game. This is going to be a lot of fun. Both defenses have looked so good so far, holding teams under 20 points. Andrew Makuba looked great against the Chiefs, the Eagles rookie safety. This is going to be a great one. How are you seeing this one? Rams at Eagles.
This is a this is a tough one. The Rams obviously want to get over their Eagle hump. I think in their last 10 games, they're what, 8-10, and
Mhm.
two of those losses are to the Eagles. So the Rams have been playing well against everybody, and they've played with the Eagles well. And so, but what they haven't done so well is contain Saquon Barkley. And with a bit of a slower start for Saquon, with the Rams obviously knowing that that's going to be an emphasis for them to limit the run game and to force Jalen Hurts to be one-dimensional and try to beat them from the pocket, I think the Rams have enough. Matthew Stafford seems to be playing well enough. Puka Nacua right now could be argued as the best receiver in the league. Maybe not pure talent-wise, but performance-wise. So I'm going to go with the Rams with the upset on the road for this one.
Oh, nice. Dude, what do you think of? There's been a lot of talk about the tush push lately, and them, kind of lining up, being offsides against the Chiefs. A lot of, scrutiny about that. Do you want to see the tush push removed? Do you think they just need to officiate it better?
Well, once the league starts paying attention to things, that tends to be the end of it eventually. So
Hmm.
I think Eagles fans should enjoy it while it's here. Although all you can do from a rule standpoint is eliminate the tush push from behind. The offensive line setup, the short yardage or goal line or quarterback sneak, style offensive line play, you can't legislate that out of the game. Are you going to tell guys they can't shoot forward? You're going to tell guys they can't get in a low stance? I'm not sure
Hmm.
what you can do rule wise outside of eliminating the push from behind on the quarterback. But the officiating crews are going to be on this. In fact, the NFL said they want the officials to call that extremely tight, whether we're talking about lining it up in the neutral zone or getting off on the snap early. So if the Eagles' advantages suddenly go away, maybe the play disappears by itself. But I think the league will look into how can we limit this and take it away and make it maybe easier to officiate and less effective as an overall play.
Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be something to keep an eye on for sure. I'm gonna go with the Eagles at home, and I think Saquon Barkley has a breakout game, and I think that's what the Eagles need. They've kind of started slow offensively, so they need Saquon to give them a boost. And it would be nice to get AJ Brown more, going offensively as well. So,
Yeah, they need that. Yeah.
0-2 Jets at the 2-0 Bucks. The Jets will be without starting quarterback Justin Fields, who is in concussion protocol. So backup quarterback Tyrod Taylor will get the start. And Chad Baker Mayfield is up there with Josh Allen at this point, early in the season, just playing great, balling out, and especially coming through in the clutch.
Yeah, that confidence, swagger, moxie that he plays with early in his career, it felt a bit misplaced. And
Hmm.
maybe sometimes it was mistimed. But now he's a guy who plays some of his best football when his team absolutely needs it. The battle of the quarterbacks in this game, it's very simple. Baker Mayfield's simply a better player. I think Tyrod Taylor provides a layer of leadership for the Jets. So often the backup quarterback comes into the game and he's not only is not as a good quarterback as a starter, but he's not respected as much in the locker room. He's not much of a leader. I think Tyrod Taylor's got the leadership thing in spades, just not the same level of quarterback that Baker is. So it's going to be an easy one for me to go with Baker and the Bucks.
Yeah, same. I'm going to Tampa Bay at home. And one of the surprising things to me is the Jets defense struggling so far through the first two games of the season. I did not expect that. And no Jermaine Johnson in this game isn't going to help. And I feel like the Bucks are going to continue to give the Jets defense problems. I don't know why the Jets defense is struggling so much this to start the year.
Well, I mean, they played some pretty good teams.
Yeah.
There's that as well. But yeah, you would think with an Aaron Glenn head coach team and some of those playmakers they have over there that they would perform better than they have.
Yeah. Um, So yeah, we agree. Bucks at home over the Jets. Here's a good game: the 1-1 Raiders at the 1-1 Commanders. Jaden Daniels is out, so the Commanders will be starting backup quarterback Marcus Mariota. But Geno Smith struggled in week two, 0 for 12 on passes 10 yards or more downfield with three interceptions. Do you expect Geno Smith to bounce back? That was a really poor showing on Monday night.
Well, Geno Smith leads the league in interceptions, I believe, since the 2023 season. He's got 28. Uh,
Wow.
so, and then the last couple of games last year, he was also quite interception prone. So, there's something there that's not seeming to get fixed with that. Certainly a guy who's put up some pretty good stats and was considered to be one of the better quarterbacks coming into this season. But your ability to keep the ball safe is a major factor. So, um, despite that, with Marcus Mariota under center for the Commanders, I'm not sure if they're going to have enough offensive firepower uh, to beat the Raiders. This is a tough one for me. Um, I,
Yeah.
yeah, which way are you leaning? Which way did you say?
This one it is tough. I've been going back and forth. I think I'm gonna go Raiders because of no Jaden Daniels, Marcus Mariota starting. I think I have to go Raiders. I'm still waiting to see more out of Ashton Genty, and Brock Bowers is a little banged up, but I think I gotta go Raiders here.
Yeah, I want to go Raiders, but the Raiders didn't have any weapons on the outside. So even if Geno
Yeah.
Smith is cleaner, who are they going to throw the ball to? Uh,
Yeah.
so that's a concern for me. But I'll reluctantly go Raiders. I don't love this pick. And I think Marcus Mariota, his ability to make some plays with his legs, which he was definitely best at early in his career, I think it's still there and may present the Raiders with some difficulties.
Yeah. Yeah. It's another tough one to pick. A lot of games this week are really tough. 1-1 Falcons at the 0-2 Panthers. I was really impressed with Atlanta's defense in week two. Jeff Ulbrich got them going. They, 6 sacks and 2 interceptions, and the rookies were getting it done. It was nice to see those rookie safeties making plays and the pass rushers getting to the quarterback as well.
Yeah, yeah. This is another interesting one and kind of a difficult one to pick. I think the Falcons have more firepower than the Panthers. The ability for this Panthers team, which is still trying to figure it out with Bryce Young, as far as a consistent level. I knew he had a good game, but yeah, I'm going to go Falcons here over the Panthers.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going Falcons. Division rivalry, it could be closer than we think, but I think Atlanta finds a way to get it done. Their number one corner, AJ Terrell, is out, but the Panthers have some injuries on the defensive side of the ball as well. And hopefully for Atlanta, they found their new kicker. Parker Romo goes 5 for 5 in his team debut, and they released Young Wei Koo today. So hopefully Parker Romo's the guy.
Yeah, I can't believe they stuck with Koo as long as they have. Hopefully he bounces back and finds a path back into the league. But there's an accountability when you're a kicker, and he was not accountable to his
Yeah,
teammate.
yeah, yep. 0-2 Texans at the 1-1 Jags. Houston, trying to avoid an 0-3 start. They almost won in week two, but Baker, came through in the clutch. In my opinion, the Texans are really missing Joe Mixon and Tank Dell for some offensive playmakers. Their O line is struggling. But on the other side, Jacksonville's had some issues as well. I don't know. Did you see Brian Thomas Jr. like alligator arming some catches and not wanting to, take a hit? That's something interesting to keep an eye on there for Jacksonville.
It is. But the Texans are the worst scoring offense in the league.
Wow.
CJ Stroud's got one touchdown. And so for me, I don't expect them to suddenly get those ills cured. I think Jacksonville's got enough to win this game. Um, Travis Hunter is definitely due for a few explosive plays. He's just too good of an athlete to continue to put the amount of volume he is on the field without making a splash play or two. So I got the Jags in this one.
I'm leaning Texans. I thought I almost switched my pick and took them on Monday night, but I'm glad I didn't because the Bucks got it done. But I thought they played well enough to win that game. They just, got beat by Baker Mayfield. I'm rooting for the Texans. I'm rooting for CJ Stroud. I agree. There's issues on the offense. They're not putting up points. They're struggling, but I'm going to take the Texans here for whatever reason. The Jags, I was a big Jags fan a couple of years ago, but they've let me down recently, and maybe they'll be better this year, but I need to see it first.
I mean, I don't think either of these teams are a deep playoff team, and I don't think they're really involved in the national conversation much.
Yeah,
But if I want to weigh out the two, the Jags are playing at a higher level than the
yeah,
Texans are right now, particularly offensively.
yeah. Yep. So I'll take Texans. You got the Jags there in Jacksonville. That's a tough one, but 1-1 Broncos at the 2-0 Chargers. The Broncos choked away. They had that game against the Colts, but the leverage on the field goal attempt, some miscues late, a Bo Nix interception, a missed field goal. What did you think of that leverage call in the Colts game on the field goal?
On one hand, you could call that probably more often than it's called, but at the same time, yeah, they were guilty, the Broncos, of trying to use leverage. You are not allowed to use the offensive player to leverage yourself into trying to block the kick, whether you're
Yeah.
jumping over or you're trying to get up in the air. So they were certainly guilty. It seemed silly on a 60-yard field goal to try to go with that, knowing there was a potential for a player either getting a leverage call or contacting the center. So it was a coaching mistake by the Broncos. But yeah, that call was correct.
Yeah, I said on the podcast earlier this week that, man, if you can make a 60-yarder and beat us, I'll shake your hand and say good kick. I'm
Right.
not I'm not risking a penalty there, you know?
Yeah, just dumb on the Broncos coaching staff's part.
Yeah. Yeah, they should have had that. They should be 2-0. But in comes a red hot Chargers team, Justin Herbert, Quentin Johnson getting it done early in the season. The Broncos run defense, got torched by Jonathan Taylor last week. No Khalil Mack though for the Chargers. He's on injured reserve, but no Evan Ingram, no Dre Greenlaw for Denver. How do you see this game going in LA?
The Chargers have themselves in a very unique position here. Typically, the league likes to schedule division games late in the season to create that late season drama for playoff seeding and things like that. The Chargers get a chance to start the season against three consecutive AFC West opponents. With a win this Sunday, they can give themselves a massive, massive chokehold on that division just 3 games in. The Chargers are playing good football. Looks like Justin Herbert has taken another step forward. We always knew he was talented. We always knew he had skill, but there was a little something missing that seems to
Mm-hmm.
be fixed this year. So yeah, man. I got the Chargers in this one. I think the Broncos are improving. I think the AFC West is improving, except for maybe the Chiefs. But the Chargers are a step ahead of the Broncos, clearly over these first couple of weeks of the season. So I got to go Chargers.
Yeah, that's a great point. They could be 3-0 in the division 3 weeks into the season. That'd be crazy.
Right.
So yeah, I love this Chargers team. Jim Harbaugh is doing a great job. It sucks to see Khalil Mack get hurt, but I think they can weather the storm, and we'll see if they can win the division and go on a deep playoff run. I agree with you. I got the Chargers at home here, but that's going to be a fun game to watch in the AFC West. We got the 0-2 Saints at the 1-1 Seahawks. Seattle coming off a big road win in Pittsburgh. You could make a case they should be 2-0 at this point. Kenneth Walker had a good game in Pittsburgh. Uh, but we'll see with injuries. Zach Charbonnet, Devin Witherspoon, Nick Emmanwori, all doubtful. So we'll see what the Seahawks roster looks like on Sunday. But the Saints don't, in my opinion, don't pose much of a threat. I think they're the one of the worst teams in the league. They gave up 26 points last week. And Spencer Rattler, this is a crazy stat, 0-8 as a starter. Do you think he gets his first win in Seattle?
No, he does not. He does not. The Saints are just in rebuilding mode. They went with this group of quarterbacks who don't present any real danger to a defense. Yeah, the Seahawks could not have played as well as they did last week, and I still would pick them. The Saints
Mm-hmm.
just don't have enough on either side of the ball to win many football games this year.
Yeah, I agree. The Saints are it's going to be a tough season for them. And how long would you wait until putting Tyler Shuck in there? If Spencer Rattler, I mean, he hasn't really been terrible, but at some point you got to put the rookie out there, right?
I think you do, but I think you also want the team to play well around him. So we need
Hmm.
a cohesive offensive line group. We need a wide receiver group that can be trusted. So until you're certain that you've got those pieces in place, why put the rookie in a bad situation that potentially can make him struggle even more and
Yeah.
maybe rob him of his confidence? So if you're already not going to be good, I I can understand the thought of, well, let's get the rookie in there, see if he can do better. But the future is clearly a couple years down the road for the Saints team. So you battle through the tough times and give the rookie the best chance possible to be successful. And so he can, you can make a definitive conclusion whether he's the guy or not.
Yeah, and I think chances are high they're going to be drafting another quarterback early in the draft next year. So we'll see. We'll see what the Saints do. But yeah, I agree with you. Seahawks at home. That's a pretty easy game to pick. This one is tough for me as a Bears fan. The 1-1 Cowboys at the 0-2 Bears. I expected my Bears to look a lot better than they have so far this year. They got absolutely blown out by the Lions in Detroit. In comes Matt Eberflus as the Cowboys defensive coordinator against his former team. But the Cowboys defense struggled against Russell Wilson last week as well. I think signs are pointing to a shootout in Chicago between the Bears and the Cowboys. Is that what you're seeing?
Um, a shootout. Well, I mean, obviously the Cowboys defense allowed that game against the
Mm-hmm.
Giants to turn into a shootout, and they allowed Russell Wilson to throw up all those moon balls. I would have to think that the Bears are going to be a little bit, better defending the Cowboys' big plays than the Giants were. Um, yeah, I've got the Cowboys in this one. I think the marriage between Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams is going to improve as the season goes along. It's just not there right now. It takes time to bring that in, and for Ben Johnson, whose play calling genius was really outside of the scope of normal, what you expect normal football plays. Well, you got
Mm-hmm.
to build your base packages before you can get all exotic. You got to threaten people with your simple stuff. As so, then when they try to defend that, then you hit them with the exotic player, the trick player, the tight end. I'm sorry, not tight end, the tackle eligible pass and all that stuff. You can't lead with that stuff. So he's got to get this offense going in that direction before the genius that we saw of Ben Johnson in Detroit can actually come out and flourish.
Yeah, and as a Bears fan, it's really frustrating when you draft Colston Loveland and you draft Luther Burden and you had a need at running back and we didn't address it. We took a running back in the seventh round, but I would have loved to get O'Marion Hampton or someone earlier. And then we're not seeing anything out of Colston Loveland or Luther Burden. They're barely even on the field. And it's very frustrating to take these guys so high in the draft and not see them making any impact so far, you know?
I agree with that. And I would be frustrated if I were a fan as well. We traditionally think of tight ends as those nice, easy targets in the middle of the field for any quarterback, but a young quarterback in particular. Something
Yeah.
outside that's taken away, or it's too, we're on one hash and then I got to throw to the opposite numbers and it's too far. I don't feel comfortable with that. Let me find somebody in the middle of the field. Well, tight ends fill that role and fill that void perfectly. To not take advantage of that, I think that's a miss for Caleb Williams and for Ben Johnson.
Yeah, and we're seeing Tyler Warren be successful in Indy, and we took Colston ahead of him. So Bears fans are obviously frustrated, and a win in Chicago over the Cowboys would do a lot to fix that. I'm gonna go, man. This is so tough. You took the Cowboys. I think I'm going Cowboys. I don't have much faith, and on top of that, we've got both two corners injured, Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon both out, and linebacker T.J. Edwards out as well. So the defense is going to be an issue. I agree with you. I'm going to take the Cowboys in Chicago, unfortunately.
I'm sure that hurts your feelings to say that, but I think we are correct here.
Yeah. Um, 2-0 Cardinals at the 2-0 49ers. This is going to be a really good game. Battle for the lead in the NFC West. Brock Purdy back at practice, but Kyle Shanahan said Mac Jones is going to start once again. No Jawan Jennings or Jordan Watkins at receiver for the 49ers. But for the Cardinals, Will Johnson, their rookie corner, is looking doubtful. And left tackle Paris Johnson questionable. How are you seeing this game? I trusted Mac Jones to beat the Saints last week, but do you think that's enough to beat the Cardinals this week? Arizona's a much better team than the Saints.
Arizona is a much better team than the Saints, but some of these injuries for the Cardinals are pretty major.
Mm.
If you put a weak fish out there against Kyle Shanahan, he's going to identify it most likely as a play caller. So with Will Johnson listed as doubtful, even if he's able to go and he's hampered a bit, yeah, I can believe the 49ers and Mac Jones are going to be good enough to be able to target that. And if your left tackle Paris Johnson is questionable, or
Yeah.
goes into the game, if he can't play, well, that's an issue. But if he can play and he's nicked up, Nick Bosa is pretty damn good. He's able to
Hmm.
take advantage of that. So I'm going to go with the 49ers over the Cardinals. I know the Cardinals are playing better. Um, I think the Rams are still the best team in this division, but the Niners, in my opinion, despite all the injuries and all that they got going on, probably are still a better overall team than the Cardinals.
Yeah, you make a good case for the 49ers. This was a tough pick for me to make. I was leaning both ways here, trying to figure it out. I'm going to agree with you and take the 49ers here. And I loved Will Johnson the way he looked the first 2 weeks, and with him being doubtful, that could be a big loss. And great points on Paris Johnson, the starting left tackle as well. So I think the 49ers get that one. And that would be quite the start. If you can get to 3-0 and survive Brock Purdy's injury, that's the 49ers would be really happy with that.
They should be incredibly happy with that. I mean, you expect to go 500 when you put your backup quarterback in the game. So
Hmm.
the football team. So to
Yeah.
out of this with that record, they would be just elated.
Hmm. Sunday Night Football. This is actually I'm really looking forward to this matchup. Uh, the 0-2 Chiefs at the 0-2 Giants, and if you would, no one would believe the Chiefs were going to start 0-3, and they have enough talent. You fully expect them to go into New York and get a win, but we'll see. Russell Wilson looked vintage. He looked like Seahawks Russell Wilson last week. 450 yards, 4 touchdowns. Um, how do you see this game going? Do you think can Russell Wilson keep that up and have another good game on Sunday Night Football?
Uh, I would have to think that the Chiefs would be prepared for the long ball. Now, the Chiefs secondary has struggled. Uh,
Hmm.
so if they allow the Giants receivers to get behind them and Russell Wilson to go moonball like he did against the Cowboys, well, damn, shame on you. And maybe you don't have the ability to bounce back this season like I thought you did.
Yeah.
And then for the Chiefs offense, Jawan Taylor, the right tackle, certainly leaves something to be desired. They're playing two young players on the left side of their offensive line. The Giants have got three excellent pass rushers.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is, played lots of games under duress, but you definitely can limit him and make him far less effective if you continue to hit him like any quarterback. He's human. So while on paper, I think most folks think the Chiefs should beat the Giants. There's some ways that the Giants, I think, can win this ball game. In the end, I just seen enough Russell Wilson regression to expect the Chiefs and Steve Spagnuolo to be able to take away that deep ball, force Russell Wilson into some of those more timing and intermediate throws, which he didn't excel at in Pittsburgh, which he didn't
Hmm.
excel at in Denver. Limit him quite a bit there, and that will give the Chiefs the advantage to be able to get a win and get a positive mark in the win column for themselves this year. Because as I said earlier, 0-2 means you got a 12% chance of making the playoffs. 0-3 goes down to 2.4%.
Yeah. For the Chiefs, this has got to be a must win. You can't lose this game on prime time in front of the country, to the Giants. The Chiefs need this one, but a big issue also is Travis Kelce. Like that drop he had in the end zone, he had a couple drops last week. He's clearly frustrated on the sideline. Um, that might be concerning a little bit. There could be something going on there in Kansas City, and Kelsey was tippy toeing on the with retirement after the Super Bowl and a rough start to the season. He's clearly frustrated.
He's frustrated, and he should be with the way the entire team has started the season, the way that his season has gone.
Hmm.
It's really hard for me to watch that clip where he bobbled the pass right there at the goal line, ends up being intercepted, but to see him stop and not chase down, it's like,
Yes.
man, that's not a good sign. Your football character should be so high that you just don't stop and watch someone else run and take advantage of your mistake. So that was very telling for me. We'll see if he's able to kind of, you know, reestablish himself in my eyes because that was a very ugly play.
Yeah, I agree. And so a lot of eyes are going to be on this game. I agree with you. I think the Chiefs do just enough. This might be like a 27-24 with a Patrick Mahomes clutch game-winning drive to set up Harrison Butker for the win. I could see something like that. But it's so crazy to think of 15-2 last year and potentially 0-3 to start this year.
Yeah, and 0-3, the writing's on the wall and the margin becomes so slim. And, one side of the ball, the other puts more pressure on themselves, and then which leads to more mistakes. And then things start to spiral out of control. Then the front office starts trading away players because we're not going to renew that guy's contract. And it just kind of all falls apart. And they're literally at that precipice point this early in the season.
That's crazy. All right, and then Monday Night Football, another great game. I'm really looking forward to this one as well. The 1-1 Lions at the 1-1 Ravens. The Lions coming off a 52-point explosion against the Bears in week 2. The Ravens, back-to-back 40-plus point games. The signs are pointing to a shootout here, but I remember what I think it was 2 years ago when the Ravens beat the Lions like 38-6, and I just think the Lions don't match up well against the Ravens. I got the Ravens in this one. I don't think it's going to be a 38-6 type game, but I think the Ravens get this one done.
Well, we all know how awesome Lamar Jackson is. But
Hmm.
even more awesome on Monday night. 7-2 on Monday night, 22 passing touchdowns, zero interceptions, the longest streak in Monday Night Football history without an interception. So I'm not sure if it's the extra day of rest, the extra day of film study, but Lamar Jackson, who's already great, finds a way to play even greater on Monday night. So I know the Lions are kind of wanting to reestablish themselves, and I'm sure they'll bring their A game as best as possible. I just think too much Lamar Jackson on Monday night will be the difference.
What do you think of? I believe I saw the stat with Lamar Jackson's got like the highest passer rating of all time at this point. Um, he's ridiculous, not only as a runner, but he's an excellent passer as well. The only thing missing from his resume is that championship. But man, he's really his resume, his career, he's really establishing himself as one of the best quarterbacks to ever play this game.
He is, and I think people are remembering Lamar Jackson from a few years back, where the passing game maybe left a little bit to be desired. But at this point,
Mhm.
he is definitely the most efficient quarterback with the ball in his hands, running the ball. But as far as passing the ball, he's also at the tops at that as well. There's a reason why he's won MVPs, and there's a reason why he's got those stats on Monday night that I just gave out. So Lamar Jackson, we are being blessed to watch one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah, and I think adding a weapon like Derrick Henry in that backfield helps open up the passing game for Lamar so much better because you have to worry about Derrick Henry breaking off 60, 70-yard runs at any time, right?
Yeah, and the two of those, I mean, you want to put big bodies on the field to deal with Derrick Henry and be able to bring him down and avoid him running through an arm tackle. At the same time, you go with too many big bodies. Well, Lamar Jackson, he can tuck that thing away. He can make all those big bodies miss and run right by him. So, from a defensive coordinator standpoint, what's the personnel that I want to put on the field to deal with those guys? You're always constantly going to be in conflict.
Absolutely. So it's going to be a great week 3. Tons of great games. Sunday night, Monday night are going to be awesome. All day Sunday, great football. Me, you, and Amanda went 12-4 last week. We all tied. So we'll see what we do this week. Maybe we can gain some ground on her. She needs to be brought back down to earth a little bit. She's got a big head at blowing me out last year with the picks.
Well, it's a new season. Every season is unique into itself, and it's a long season. We got a long way to go, my friend. So
Yeah.
keep up the pace.
Well, thanks for your time, Chad. Always great to have you on the show. Can't wait for week 3 and college football tomorrow and NFL on Sunday and Monday. So appreciate the time as always, Chad. Appreciate the listeners and viewers. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Have a great week, guys, and peace out.